There we
Hey,
go. Hi.
hello, people. Um, welcome to the live for that book. Yeah, that book. My hand did not. I do not. I have this version of book one. However, my copy of book
Sorry.
two is downstairs, and that seems like too far to go.
I did
um,
my nails in the color that reminds me of, the other covers, not these ones, but the newer ones. They they seemed very fitting with her dresses.
you mean the old ones?
Potentially. The one where you see her in a dress. I don't know. It's the one that's on
Yeah,
script.
that's the old ones.
Okay.
Um,
So the old ones, not the new ones. Other way around.
um, popping in to say hi. This was at 5:30. So hello.
Emma.
Hello, Hattie. Um, do not worry about it. We did not tweet about it. We tweeted about it ages ago, and then we never commented about it again. Um,
I suck. Sorry. I forgot.
yeah. And hello. I will also apologize. I am getting over a cold. You will have known this if you watched Becca's vlog. So my throat is a little bit hoarse because I also work on the telephones. So yay.
It's not the best profession to have when you've got sore throats or sore ears.
No. But
Bless you.
we are not here to talk about me and my ailments. We are here to talk about A Court of Mist and Fury, which I'm going to say this now is one of my favorite books in this series. So
There
Tori,
we go. I can
how did
just
we
sit
enjoy?
there. Can hide all the mess.
Nice. So Tori, what did you think? Did you enjoy the book?
That's a statement that is so true. It was a 5-star book. This
Yay.
very much, as I said to Smash, the only thing that Smash knows I actually didn't message at all because I literally just binged it. Was that this reminds me of Throne of Glass. This is like the friendship vibes, the learning about everyone's backgrounds, the every time you think something's not gonna happen or is gonna happen, there's twisty turnies. This was more reminiscent of what I was expecting last time, but without the last book, this couldn't have worked as well.
Yeah.
So again, it very much worked in
Yeah.
beautifully.
So as you said, 5 stars. I also gave this book 5 stars. I will also say I'm going to apologize to everyone in the comments. I read this book over the weekend, most of it over the weekend. Whilst kind of in a bit, I feel like I'm heading towards a bit of a reading slump, which I'm totally fine with that. That's absolutely fine. However, I did have to push myself to read this book, and in the sense of I listened to the audiobook and played The Sims and had a very, very great time doing it. However,
I I played 7.5 hours of solitaire.
nice. Um, yeah, I
It
played The
was a
Sims,
lot.
and I kind of was like more interested in the Sims game in certain points. So it's going to be an interesting life because I don't know if I've taken in all of the knowledge. Um, so yeah,
It's
definitely
fine.
5 stars and nice, very very nice.
It's all
So
good.
I'm going to start off with I think let's start at the very beginning because it's a very good place to start. I'm not going to start
Nice.
singing. Um,
It's now in my head though. Thanks for that.
you're welcome. It's something that my musical director says every time that he's like, let's start at the very beginning, and at least one person will turn around and go, it's a very good place to start. He goes, "Oh, we're not singing that one."
I love it.
Um, that's fair. Like, hey, don't push yourself. Reading's a hobby.
It's fine.
Don't.
And you've both already read it,
Yeah.
so it's all good. I will gush about it for everyone and pull things to front and remind everyone it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, I feel like we need to start at the beginning of this book in the sense of um it's a very different start, and especially coming off back of book one.
Yes.
Also, it's as per usual, spoilers for this book, spoilers for the last book, spoilers for the Throne of Glass series. If I see any spoilers that are forward or anything that is outside of the realm of reasonable things, you ain't getting a comment posted because absolutely not. We Right. Also, good on us, guys. Can we just appreciate that Tori did not get spoiled for this book? I do not know
No,
how.
I did not. I knew nothing, guys. Actually,
Um,
nothing.
so
It did make me giggle though, because one of the characters in this book is one of Richie's nicknames, and it makes me giggle every time. And
so
I will be reading ACOTAR very, very, very quickly.
so we're starting at the beginning of this book where we get introduced to Feyre again, and there's some depression in that poor little person.
Yep.
So
Literally the
we
first 2 pages is
yep,
just heartbreak.
yeah.
I
And then
was driving home.
well, to be sure,
I chose I love that saying. I've said that to so many people and they just burst into giggles. And I'm always like, it's not mine. I stole it. Who's yeah. Um I had whiplash. Like, look, I knew the only thing I knew about this going in was that there was going to be more sex scenes than there had been in Throne of Glass. Was the only thing I knew. I read 3 chapters driving home on Saturday from my dad's house. I had depression, and I had sex, and I had angst, and I had prison, and I was like, what the hell am I getting myself into? Honestly, I was like, I literally came home and I opened the book and I was 25 pages in. That's how much I listened to between my dad's house and mine. And I was like, okay, I've got 600 pages to go.
so what I think is absolutely hilarious is I got this book when it first came out, and um I must like, when did it come out? When was it first released?
2016, I think.
2016, yeah.
Yeah, 2016.
And it was the year that I was doing my traveling with my friend from Australia. Um, and I needed a book to just like travel with, so this was the book. And I remember because it was before I knew what smut was, and I was one of those bitches, and I do apologize. But I was one of those bitches who was taking the piss because I did not expect the sex scene because we hadn't really had that from Sarah J. Maas before. Yeah, 2016. Yeah,
I just looked.
yeah. So I remember I was sat and I was reading it, and then like I was just taking the piss out of the first sex scene because it just came out of nowhere, and I was like, lol. And my friend from Australia is a Sarah J. Maas fan, or she was at the time, and yeah, it was very much like we were like, what the fuck is this book? And then I continued reading it and went, oh no, this book's really good
Yeah,
because I've said from day one, I did not like ACOTAR from the beginning. I did not like the first book. I really, really didn't enjoy it. I only picked this book up because I was like, it's Sarah J. Maas, and I love the Throne of Glass books. And I'm really glad that I continued it because this book was really good. I very much enjoyed this.
yeah.
Oh,
I
that was a
very
bit of
much
a
enjoyed
tangent.
this book.
That was a
You don't
bit of a
like
tangent.
tangents.
I do think it's
Have you
hilarious
met me?
though. It's
Like, if
true.
we're not allowed, then I'm fucked.
I did think it was hilarious though that the first time I read it was like 8 years ago, and then I reread it about the same time 8 years later. Like that's horrifying.
Yeah.
That's
But yeah, I had whiplash on the first 26 pages. I kind of then sat myself down here and I put my headphones on. And I was like, right, okay, this is going to be one of those books that I can't just like flute through the TV when I'm like doing shit. I need to like have headphones on. We're not doing the whole thing that we did with Throne of Glass where the scenes came out of nowhere and I was like freaking out. It's not happening. Um, and then it was like basically over again. And then it was just depressed Farah. And I was like, oh, I need to hug you now
yeah. I
and slap some
again,
people because I really
yeah,
needed to slap very, very many people to start with.
yeah. Again, I think that we just need to commend Sarah J. Maas for her writing of depression. I think that she is one of the
Yeah.
best writers of depression out there. And every time she writes depression, it's in a slightly different way, so it kind of connects to you in a different way. Which she's incredible at writing trauma. Also, fuck her for being able to write it so well because it hurt.
Yep.
But yeah, I like it's absolutely incredible, and I think this book kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Um,
I love it.
yeah, so obviously we're just kind of going to spoilers straight away, I think. Tamlin's a dick.
I messaged Emma and said I wanted him to. What was it? I need to. I hope he fucks himself on a rusty spoon or a cactus, whichever is closest.
Rusty cat.
A rusty cactus.
Rusty cat.
Um, to quote the phrase from Andy, because Andy has been reading the other book that we're on for the read along and had messaged me saying that one of the characters in that she hated and needed to like hurt himself on a cactus. Um, tampon. Honestly, within the first two chapters, I was like, I hate you, and then
So so one of
just
the things that me, Becca, and Emma have been discussing with our reread of ACOTAR is how much you can actually see the manipulation that goes on for Feyre in book one. And when you kind of realize that after read, and I do think that at some point, Tori, you're probably going to reread them anyway, but I do think that you should go back and reread book one, because book one obviously went into it the same way that we all did at the start, and it's like, oh, he's lovely, it's like a fairy tale, and then now you're like, oh my god, it's horrific.
it's literally like that thing which you don't realize to start with, where he is her sole point of contact with everything Faye to
Yeah,
start with. So
yeah.
basically, she is taking his word as gospel,
Hmm.
and everything. I was trying to describe this whole series to one of my colleagues at work today, which was hilarious because me and my friend just don't worry about like whatever we're reading, this, that, and the next thing. You okay?
Yeah, it just made a loud bang and I didn't expect it.
And I was like, it's very much that thing where he takes her and says that he's good and spends money on her and says all this and does ABC, says this is the bad guy, and then backs up claims from his point of view. But because you don't have anything else backing up, it's very biased.
Yeah.
And then, to be fair, Rhysand didn't really help things, but he had to. He couldn't do any different, and obviously we learn
the,
slightly more.
the
But
thing
like,
is,
he's also so good. I just
Rhysand never turns around and says that he's the good guy and that he does good
no,
things. He just does nice things as well, and it's
yeah,
great because it's very much that the
I do
idea
love
that you
Morally
can,
Grey.
yeah, well, it's not even the morally grey type thing. It is very much like um you can be a nice person but do bad things, but you can also be a bad person and do good things. Like I can't remember exactly what I was talking about to Becca, but I was saying about how Hitler was probably liked by some people and he probably did nice things in his life, but it doesn't make him a good person.
Yeah,
Like, we can see those things, and it's very much like there's going to be some good that some bad people do, and there's going to be some bad that some good people do. Yes, 100%.
yep.
100%. Um, I I think that, like,
I just
I
the
also
more we
like,
got of the first set, and the fact that the section was, wait, what was it called? The House of Beasts. The fact that her home is supposed to be is the chapter that was the House of Beasts. Like I kept expecting, because obviously where I knew she'd left and Rhysand was going to take her for a week of the month, this, that, and the next thing. Like in my head, this is going to be us going to the night court for the House of Beasts because he's coming. Like blah blah blah. Nope,
and then you find out
no.
it's no,
This
time.
is home. This is supposed to be home. This is not home. This no.
There is a running theme of what we call Tamlin.
I have
And
noticed.
there is also a really, really funny meme of this woman going into a supermarket and going, "Oh my god, I can't believe that they've got action figures of people from ACOTAR," and hold up a box of tampons. And it's great.
I love that.
It's
I
so
love
dumb.
that.
I love it. Um, but yeah, so you've got that. You have Alice, who I think is the only redeemable character in that setting, in the sense of you can tell she knows that it's not right what's happening to Feyre. She doesn't do anything about it, but you can tell she doesn't agree with it.
Yeah.
Lucian, I look, here's the thing. You can tell he also doesn't agree with it, but he actively does not help her. He
Even if
actively
he says
goes,
he's gonna try and speak to him, there's nothing that says he did. Like,
um, and then you've got the wonderful, not my sarcasm, Ianthe.
yeah.
Um,
I didn't like her syrupy sweetness when she was at the start of the book, and when you find out more about her at the latter half of the book, I really wouldn't have cared if she fell off a cliff.
she's a wonder, as in wonder how anyone likes her.
Yeah. I don't even know how you spell her name.
I mean, I don't think that this is controversial, Emma. I don't
No.
think I don't think it's controversial. Like I don't think that you're supposed to like him. I think that you're supposed to like but I also think that kind of in the sense of we didn't like him in the first book either. He was
Yeah.
he's on the edge of like he's on the cusp of he could be nice, but he does these things that you just don't like.
Yeah. I feel like he just needs to like um he needs to like take a stance. He needs to get a
He needs
backbone.
a shake. He needs a good fucking shake.
The punch. I just want to talk.
I just like yeah. Um
Um
but yeah,
the fact
Ianthe is going back because I feel like we need to talk about her because the fact that I never picked up on, and I picked up on it this time, the fact that Farah, like they're talking about the wedding, Farah is so unengaged in this, like ironically unengaged with the wedding,
yep,
and she's like, "You do it, you do it, you do it," and Ianthe is like, "What coloured roses?" And she says, "Anything but red." She
yep.
specifically says, "Not red," and that bitch still does red rose petals.
And it makes her seize up. Like Red is not a friend of hers right now. Like
Like
I don't know if Red will ever be a friend of hers. Like it shouldn't be. But the fact that you have a supposed friend and then that's what you still do, like she hated everything about that wedding. Like I'm really glad that Reese came and got her, and I know that that's obviously like further on, but like
it's
honest to God, like even if he'd been doing it for the chaoticness, coming in and swooping in on the wedding day is just perfect. Like
yeah,
if he was doing it from a bad point of view to cause the most chaos, like that is hilarious. And even if I'd like actually wanted the wedding to happen, I would have like found it hilarious. But I didn't, and I have never been so glad to have a wedding stopped. Which in a book is not normally something that you hear of.
yeah. Um, I also think it's really like so going back to kind of like the wedding thing, it's very telling, I think, especially with Tamlin, in the sense of the dress, the monstrosity of a dress. And I never thought about looking up what the dress looks like, and honestly, it looks horrific. Um, honest to God, like absolutely
Did you
terrible.
Google it?
I did Google it.
Okay.
Um, and it
And did you
looked
Google it after? Or
it
you can
just
send me pictures so that I don't get spoilers for anything else, whatever.
you know the toilet roll covers that you used to get, the knitted, like
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Um, and the fact that, like, she takes the dress to him and shows him, and he actually, like, laughs so
Laughs at it.
hard, and then he's like but then he's like,
But wear it.
"It's for the good of everything," and it's like, "Dude, if you're laughing at your bride."
There's so much wrong. Like the fact that he literally wouldn't let her go with him to the village. And then he kept her inside and kept saying, just go paint. Just go do things. No, that is not what she is. She has more brains than this. Like,
But it's
yes,
not
she
even
can't read, but that doesn't make a difference. Like,
but it's not even the she doesn't have brains, it's the fact that, like
he just wants a pretty ornament on his bookshelf.
and it's the whole, like I can't let you not be safe. And it's like, but you're the most dangerous. Anyway, no, so first part of the book is just like not
A
great.
clusterfuck.
Yeah.
We hate it.
And then we get to see Reese and we get to meet we get to go to the night court, which you think's going to be all like demons and monsters and things, and it's quite lovely. It's like
Sorry, Emma's just sent me a picture of the wedding dress. Thanks, Emma.
the like it's like the night court isn't as bad as you expect. Reese is like he's tormenting Farah in the sense of like making her right. Literally sunshine and rainbows. But he gets her to write like these
Was it
really
like
inappropriate sentences,
is it
like
like Resand is the most amazing something or something?
something like
If I
that.
remember right.
And then and like, but he's kind of like forcing her to interact, whereas everyone else is just kind of like letting her be passive, and it's you see her kind of become a little bit more alive in that
Yeah.
1 week than you've seen her in the entire book.
And also he's like trying to help her read. Like
Yeah.
Tamlin has so many people. He could have done that ages ago. And he didn't even
Well,
fucking think to.
he did, but by taking the piss out of her
Yeah,
trying
her
to
right
learn the
and making
song,
up that
like learn.
stupid yeah.
And it's the fact that like when Reese is like, you are not as behind as I expected you to be, like he just yeah. So um did you expect that from Reese? What did you expect kind of going into it?
I expected the facade that he puts on. Like the shit that you actually get in his court. I expected that. Maybe not quite as much, but I expected something along that lines. I didn't expect like a week of learn to read. Here's something good for you to take back so that you are stronger and have shit on your own arsenal. The sarcasm and the snark is so good. Like,
The band is great.
oh, the banner, even though like at the start it's because they hate each other and like he's trying to pull her out. I know that it's like skipping ahead, but her then putting it on him when he was upset was just like, oh, I love their banner. Um, Not even like the first time that they go, you don't even have the rest of the crew at that point.
No,
It's just him. So the sarcasm was great. I loved it.
I
And then
also
she went back,
really
and then she died again, and then he had to do it all over again. Pfft. Hi.
hello. Thank you for joining, even if it's for a little while. We appreciate it.
She's in the middle of
I
nowhere.
also oh dear. I mean, yay, if that's what you want to do.
No,
I should say
she
that.
loves it.
Like,
She's like in a lodge in a forest. She's like living her best
oh, nice.
witchy
That sounds like my
life.
nightmare. That sounds like my nightmare in the sense of like hay fever. But I'm
Yeah.
if you enjoy it, that's amazing. I'm very very happy for you. But no, so I also think that with the going back to the kind of reading thing, he doesn't just do that. He teaches her how to mentally shield her brain, which like he did not have to do, and he's just like, no, we're gonna do this shit, and like, look at this guy actually helping her to like. Oh no!
Am I here?
Hello.
Am I still
No,
here?
you're here. I think mine's disappearing.
Oh no, we're
You
both
are
back.
here.
So are you.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
I heard
I
you
think
through
mine
all
has
of that.
issues. I'm blaming this comment because someone said about shit internet and then everything went crazy. I'm joking. We appreciate you. Thank you. Um sorry for if there's been issues here.
Um,
I don't have
yeah,
the low Wi-Fi symbol, so I should be
yeah. I don't know. I can still hear you. I heard you the whole way through that.
Well, that's fine. You just suddenly disappeared and then I couldn't hear you. So, but it's gone now, so it's great. But yeah, so he helps her to mentally shield, and yeah, she goes back and we have to deal with the lock in.
I could not deal. 2 seconds. Sorry.
We appreciate you.
Sorry, we were trying to figure out what the noise is. We think either side of the neighbors, one of them is drilling something, but we were making sure it was something that should be making noise. It was the
Okay,
fact we
cool.
both took off the headset at the same time, and we were like, um, yeah. Considering the fact he knows that like she's still got PTSD, and the fact that she is sick like all the time, and like she hates the fact that she keeps getting left at home. Like, why would you then physically lock her in the house? Not only on the grounds, like in the house.
Yeah.
If I'd seen them, I would have literally have hit him.
Yeah. And this is why the last live show was so difficult for us to kind of get through and be like, he's lovely, which is why I never said that. I just kind of talked about Tamlin.
I mean,
Because
he seemed it, which
he
is
did.
what a
Oh, he
manipulator
fooled.
does.
He fooled most of us. It's really funny because there's a few people um on TikTok who where it's like men reading it for the first time, and one of the guys he read it and he had predicted from book one that
Oh no. Oh,
yay, there we are. Oh,
hi.
hello. Hi, cat.
We haven't
Um
eaten. Holy shit. You're
um
okay. She doesn't like the noise.
that's fair.
Joking.
So because of he predicted because he was like, this is manipulation in book one, and everyone when he got to this book and he was like, I'm vindicated, like he is horrible, and everyone and like his partner was like, a lot of people in the comments did not see this coming. And he was like, how? And it's like, because we didn't. Um, this is a very significant moment as well.
The whole tithe. Can we talk about that for a second?
We
Because
can.
I needed to yell. Like, I get the whole, especially since it's the first court that she's seen, so she doesn't know that the other courts don't do it. So she's like, okay, fair enough, could be a thing, but she's right. They don't need it. They don't need the food. They don't need this. She's been hungry. She's been through all that as a human. Like, the fact that he wouldn't listen to her and she was just expected to sit there and listen to like all this harsh dealings when
I think.
I was just like,
I think.
okay,
I
fair
think.
enough that you're not listening, but like, what is the point? Because at this point, you're just manipulating your whole court into something that isn't working. Like, they're all just starving. Like, if you're trying to get a strong court together, surely you would want them to have food.
I think the other thing that we have to remember, and I'm not saying that this is a good reason, and I'm not saying that that he is anywhere valid for this, but I do think that we need to bring up the fact that this is probably the only thing that Tamlin knows, and because it's the way that it has been done,
Mm.
a lot of people kind of get stuck in that rut.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
I am not excusing his behavior. Um, literally this. I am
Yeah.
not excusing the behavior that he has. I am not excusing because here's the thing: if we going into anything where we get to settle and we get settled and complacent in our behaviors, that is really really dangerous in the sense of like we can lose like sight of what we could be or what we are. We can get complacent and that's how you get like casual racism and things like that. Like you
Yeah.
just like if you're not constantly kind of policing yourself and things like that and kind of realizing that those things exist and kind of making yourself better for them, then it's gonna run rampant. And I do think that like Tamlin kind of just does the shit that he's done because that's how it's
Yeah.
always been done.
I
Well,
think,
also, but like we could also say like we British people have colonized most of the world, so that's how it's been done. No, that's not how we should be doing it. Like a little bit of a
Yeah.
rant, but yeah.
No, you're fine. I also think it's interesting that at this part in the story, you don't know anything about his parents. So from my perspective at this point, his parents have gotten old, they died of something like in the First War. This is what was passed down and trained him, and it's been going on forever. Okay, fair enough. The timeline wise is still decent enough that he's had the power, like whatever. He's been High Lord. But later on, we obviously find out how both sets of parents die, which is a completely different thing. And I don't know if the trauma of how that happened has then made him double down on what his parents did, because it was like, oh, well, that's now how I've got to do it to honor them because they didn't get to live to their old age.
I
It
don't.
doesn't make an excuse, but like, there's part of me that's like, I don't care why he does it. It's just idiotic.
Yeah,
Especially like when Farah asked about it in night court and they were like, eh.
yeah. Yes. That's gonna make you laugh every time, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It'll take a while. Sorry, guys. I need to get used to that. Yes.
We also
Not
had.
only with like her mind and her magic and fighting physically, though. Like he's like,
I I think it's also really really great. We'll get back to this comment. But I also think it's really great with Reese because he specifically says like I will never stop you for doing something. Like I want to protect you, yes, and I want you safe, but I also want you to be your own person.
I think at one point he even said, "I may hate it, but if it's what you want to do, then we'll deal."
Yeah.
Like,
He
yes.
This is the feminism that we want in our books.
Also the very very last like half page feminism that we want. Maybe not half page because that's like the next book, and I'm not reading that.
No, don't.
Hold on. Why is the excerpt so long? Give me the
Because they
actual book.
want to give you extra things.
I
So
know, but
thank
then they
God.
only give you like half a chapter, and then you lot are left waiting for it where I've got it downstairs.
An issue, not an issue me.
I know. Well, technically, it was an issue, not an issue me, because mine's downstairs.
I wasn't bothered though, because like I said, I didn't love this. I was waiting for book. It was either Tower of Dawn or it was Kingdom of Ash or something. It was no, it wasn't. It wasn't Kingdom of Ash because Wings and Ruin came out before Kingdom of Ash, but it was one of those books.
One of the duology. Oh God. Oh,
It was either Empire of
ouch.
Storms or
Tower of Dawn.
it was not Empire. It was one of those books. Empire of Storms came out 2015.
So Tower of Dawn came out at the same time
No,
as this.
Empire of Storms didn't come out in 2015 because I read Queen of Shadows and so it must have been Empire of Storms. I was waiting for Empire of Storms. That's the book I was waiting for.
Bloody hell, that's two cliffhangers to go at the
I
same
think
time.
I think it was. Anyway, water under the bridge.
But yeah, it's not even the last page because technically there's like the short chapter from like each of the POVs, but like just before that, I'm not saying the ending yet because we'll get to that. But like,
Yeah.
I
Um,
wiggled.
Vicky did see it coming, and I think that's totally valid. I think especially if you have been in a situation where you see it, like yeah, 100%. And I think that's actually what's really really clever about thingy. No, I'm saying that was it. I'm saying that I read this book and then I was waiting for the next Throne of Glass book. Is essentially what I'm saying.
Want me
Like
to tell
I'm
you what
not.
years they came out? I've got the list of
I
them.
don't think it matters that much. I'm not going to lie. It's not the end of the world. I'm just saying that I was waiting for the next Throne of Glass book, essentially.
It was more in case your brain was gonna like hate it for the next like
No, I
hour
don't
or
care.
whatever.
I don't care.
So
Um,
I
like I
loved
said,
it.
I know that I read Queen of Shadows when I was in Rome in 2015. That's the only thing I know. So, um, but yeah, obviously, like I think that's one of the things that I think Sarah J. Maas is really really good at because like she wrote this man to be so manipulative that it manipulated majority of the audience. I'm not saying all because there were some people who saw the warning signs and saw the red flags, but we all got manipulated by that dude. We were like, oh, this is a nice guy. No, he's not. Yeah. Yeah.
I do not like Tam.
No. I'm glad
No.
you don't, because I'd be concerned if you did.
I really like Reese though.
Reese is
And
great.
I finally get the wingspan comment.
Yeah.
Which was one of
Okay.
the only like quotes that I knew because it's on like bookmarks and like everything. Like
So what I can say is you can now actually look at your bookmarks.
okay.
So you can look at those. Because you now have been introduced to all of the characters.
Okay. In that case I will send you pictures and say who I think is which ones and you can
Yeah.
tell me if I'm right or wrong later.
Just I thought I'd let you know that because we did talk about that last time. But
I have not. They are still on the bookcase.
I'd assumed you hadn't, which is why I'm telling you you can now. Because you've met Cassian and Azrael now.
I
Um,
have.
I think that you potentially will think the same that I did, in the sense of they give very, very much similar vibes to two characters in a certain series that you kind of really enjoy. I don't know if you picked up on it as well, because when I read this book, I was like, I'm getting some strong vibes.
Yep. Yep. I feel like they've got more hair in this than they do in that.
Yeah.
Wings, which they don't have in that. But yeah, I feel you. But it's funny because this is written after that.
Yeah. But I very much like personality wise, it was just them two
It
bickering, and
it
I was
also is
like, I love them.
just adding more instead of Marin, and I was like, "There's my trio." We're
Okay,
good.
so let's talk about the new cast of characters, because
We got so many,
we
and I
got
feel
like,
like we got Reese properly. Like
yes,
Reese was there, but he was acting. Like
yeah,
if anybody tells me he was not putting on a show in the last one, no.
we know he was. He was
I mean, he even
he,
says it. To be
yeah.
fair.
So we're gonna shelve Reese for now, because I feel like we can talk about Reese a lot, and obviously he is love interest, and there is a lot of plot that goes on with Reese.
Yeah.
However, we meet more. We meet Cassian and Azrael, and we meet Amryn. So what exactly did you think? How did you enjoy these characters? Did you what
Yes. Yes, is that a question?
well, no,
Um,
but
I
you
I know what you mean though. I love Amryn. Amryn is like badass bitch. Also the fact that she's other is cool.
yeah,
And that she's ancient. Like that dude has gone through some shit. Um, and the fact that she gave Farah the pendant that actually meant fuck all, but got her into the prison and back out. Um, sorry, my ears just started ringing. Was cool. I love more, although I need more and Azrael to get their shit together.
that's fair.
That's literally that statement. Um, Cassian and Nest, I think, will happen at some point, because if they don't, then that angst is just not going anywhere. Lucian, I'm totally going off track now. Sorry, my brain went down ship line. Let's go back. We'll do that later. Um, you can tell that my brain was just like, um, Azrael and Cassian and Reese being in the camps is hell. Like their whole background and how they had to train in the Illyrian camps just sounds awful. I'm really happy that Reese is trying to get female warriors and to have them like stop clipping wings and stuff, because that sounds horrendous. I don't know if I can come up with words to describe how much I hated that, but I am glad that they're trying. The fact that they're trying to get them to train before doing chores or whatever,
Yeah,
even if they obviously are still having pushbacks and they're not getting it in the right order or whatever. At least they're trying. At least they're trying to move on and, not do what their predecessors have done for generations before, like some other asshole we can name.
Yeah. I think that's one good thing about it is they try and kind of like deal with the stuff and they're trying to like figure that out. Um, it shows a lot. Like Mo's story is absolutely horrific. Um, I think it really goes to show just like mm, how shitty the world is. Um, and also just incredible that it doesn't break her. I think it's really nice to see a character who's gone through so much bad stuff. Like the fact that she was nailed, like, nah, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Once
Um,
again, SJM giving us amazing female characters.
and horrible, horrific trauma.
And horrible and more whipping. What is
Yeah.
with her and whipping? Like, until
It,
back's bloody.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Like, she likes trauma. Is she okay? Do we need to send out like reinforcements?
um, but yeah, so we kind of get like the cast and they're very like they're
My shipper brain had a lot of fun in the second half.
um
Yeah, I may love the six of them.
yeah. And I think it's really, really nice to just kind of see them evolve and kind of like where they're going and things like that. Um, I think it's really, really interesting to kind of see what they're kind of going to be, and you kind of see like them starting out as like really, really like simple characters, and they kind of like grow into their own. It's great.
I also love that yes, they've got tons of history together because obviously they've been friends for ages. But it all started from a we will protect each other. Even I don't care who you are, but like I have some food. Here you go, and it was something like he tried to get beat. What was it? Cassian was fighting the new guys so he could get new clothes,
Yeah.
and then they just were like, no, come in. Like I
Um.
can't. I have such a soft spot for characters with shit backgrounds. This is why me and the Foxhole Court got on so well.
Yeah.
Like
Um. What did so it's intro because we're talking about their backgrounds. What did you think of Reese's mom? Because she's an interesting character in the sense of like she has like Reese has so much reverence for her, but she's not like there's certain things that like are not great, and it's pointed out by Feyre that like,
yeah,
hey, she's not the nicest person.
yeah. Um, yeah. Because she was the Illyrian, right?
Yes.
I did remember that right. Yeah. So the fact that like she's grown up with this and she tried to get her son out, but then was like, no, you can't not train this, so you need to come back. And she went back in. Like, I get that. Like the fact that she dealt with that and went back and then protected the boys, I appreciate.
But also
But
kind
the
of
fact that
Reese into the wolves in the sense of she threw him in a fighting pit and walked away because it would be seen as weakness if she didn't.
yeah, where she
And
could have surely there's a way to train them outside of a camp. But then if they didn't, she would never have met Asriel and Cassian, so I can't not have the boys be there. So I guess I can't hope for that either. Because then we wouldn't have three of them. And we wouldn't have more.
not in
Like
the same vein.
that makes me sad that I can't save them from that and still have them be like
Yeah.
this like foursome thing. But it does amuse me that not Cassian, that Asriel so obviously wants her. And she's like, "Oh no, I slept with Cassie, and that was a huge like thing. That's not happening again." And now she just literally is like, "No, but if he wants me, he can." No, like, dude, how do you not see this? Farrah's gonna end up like hitting her over the head or something in one of the following books, isn't she? I'm gonna say it now. I know none of you will tell me, and Smash has like the best poker face, but I'm gonna put it out here now that Farrah's gonna like talk sense into one of the two of them.
Okay. That's your prediction, yeah?
Yeah, because if it doesn't, I'm gonna have to do it, and I can't. So.
That is fair. That's very, very fair. Um, okay.
But also, just on the fact of like the inner court, the fact that they have like Yeah, genuinely. But still friends after it. But very much like I can poke and prod because meh, I've seen you naked, and then giving it back vibes. I love the fact that not only did he have, because I think the first time she ended up in the night court, she was in the palace, not like under the mountain, but like the palace on top of the mountain.
The House of
I
Wind.
remember House of Wind. I remember it being something about wind, and then when they went back, obviously, when they then found the city and they had the different houses, and it was just no, what's going on with my hair? I don't even know. And it just being a completely different vibe than it being under the mountain, which is obviously so oppressive, like Amaranth's court, and just the difference and like how they had to act. Oh, I know we're not there yet, but that just made me make that link
We
because of
can
the
be
court.
there.
Well, how
We
the
can.
court had to act, like, because you saw them literally all together and like all fun, and then they all like became the warriors and became like what they had to be to survive. And I was just like, oh my god, this is like,
Yeah.
you can tell why they're so good at like acting out with the court or out with their like realm, because they've got to. It's how everybody's kept everything so safe. So no, how Reese has kept everyone so safe. There we go. My brain will catch up with me eventually. I need to part my
um,
hair though.
yeah, I feel like let's go on to the Court of Nightmares. So we do see that sense of what everyone assumed the Court of Night would be. And you see this really oppressive, this really, really fucked up world.
Yeah,
What did you think of that? Like, to see that that was like all an act, and that, but did reign in that court for a long time. Like,
the fact that that's also still Moore's family,
yeah,
like her dad got like the shit beaten out of him a little bit, but it wasn't enough.
no, but it
Like
was a good start, and
it was a good start though. We will give him that.
it was very
Um, it was very nice. But considering I have broken bones, it also hurt because my brain was like, "Ow."
loved it.
Mm.
He deserved it.
Oh, he totally did. Um, but yeah, the fact that More and her were like completely separate, and then like they all came in at different stages, and they all were like acting out this whole thing. And yes, okay, it was a distraction, and it had to be like what it was. But the fact that that would have been normal, I was like, okay, so this is what you have people believe and how you back up what they believe outside the court, because this is the opinion that all of, I don't know,
It's
it wouldn't be the whole realm, but like the people in that section of the realm are
it's
like passing on.
it's Aelin going back to the Assassin's Keep
Yeah.
and pretending to be Selena.
Oh, my girl. I love her.
Um,
I cannot go back for a reread. Don't. Not yet. I've got a lot more to go.
I mean, you could. No,
No. No, I'm a witch of Yadakamar. Got to read the next one.
that's fair. That's fair. Um, so yeah,
But yeah,
we get quite a lot.
in a short period of time as well.
Yeah,
Because you not only get him ruling court, we get him actually using his power and being lord for the first like proper time, because a lot of what you've had up until that point is with friends. And yes, okay, he's obviously in charge if it like comes down to like decisions about what the army's doing and if he's getting information from like the spy master, but he's never actually like, I am lord, you will do what I want.
yeah.
Like he doesn't actually use that type of power
He just
until then. Obviously she sits on his lap, and that's slightly distracting for
okay.
everyone.
Okay.
Um
Because let's be real. This book is much smuttier than the rest of them. What did you think of the smut scenes in relation to her and Tamlin compared to her and Reese?
oh, it's much better with Reese. Come on. That's not even a question.
No, I know, but like, do you think that there is like a way that it is written? Because I think that it's really interesting, because you have, I think that it's really interesting in the sense of like, with Tamlin, there was no build up in the start of this book, so it was just very much like, oh, this is what we're doing. And then
Yeah.
in later on, it's very much like, so we
It's
want to,
very action filled. I was just double checking before I said it. It's very action filled. I did, we did, I did this, I did that
well,
in the
it's
overall thing
it's not
with
even what I'm
Tamlin.
talking about, in the sense of like, so you will now know the legendary chapter 55, which
Is that
is,
the one under the mountain?
no,
Or
this
is
is the
that the one where they're flying?
chapter
Oh
55
god.
is the first sex scene, like the recent and Feyre sex scene. It is 55, isn't it? It's not 45. Is it 45? Someone correct me if I'm wrong, please.
No, no, it's this one. It's
Yeah, it's
55.
55. And what I saw on a podcast clip on, I thought it was 55. Thank you. I just wanted to, I thought
I
it was.
just, because I didn't read the book and I just audiobooked it, I had no idea where anything was.
So, chapter 55 is prolific in ACOMAF because it is the big sex scene.
Yep.
It is the like everything. And then everyone has also said about, I saw a clip on this podcast clip from on TikTok where it was like, it's really interesting to know who is a fantasy romance compared to a romance fantasy. So if you are more heavily into fantasy romance, you most likely will enjoy chapter 54 more, because it's the kind of, I fell in love with you and this is what happened, and it is the proclamation of love. Whereas 55 is if you are more the romance fantasy reader, and it is the
Now that you've said it, yes, I can see that.
wow, wow. And a lot of people turn around and will say, if you preferred chapter 54, you most likely prefer Throne of Glass. And if you prefer chapter 55, you are more likely an ACOTAR girly. I do much prefer chapter 54. I like chapter 55. Chapter 55 is great and it's iconic. However, I want the love, and I want the love.
That's
But
fair.
we also get the cereal back.
We do. Dude,
Um,
the cereal caused havoc.
yeah,
To answer your question, I like both 54 and 55. And because I was audiobooking it, I didn't actually notice this difference. So to me, it was all just like one.
but you are also a prolific romance reader, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, this is very true. Um, I probably am more a 54. Like, I loved the whole seeing, like, it was basically the equivalent of us getting the study of poison and like the study of magic, like from Valak's point of view, in a chapter. Like, it was fantastic. Because I had to wait years to get Valak's point of view of magic study, and I'd never thought I was going to get it, and it is now in my hands, and it's great. But like, it's right there. At least, like, he tells you. You don't have to wait for it. He gives you his point of view and tells you everything. And like connects all the stars, because I won't say dots because that sounds weird when we're talking about him. Um, but yeah, I don't know. With it feels like with Tam, it's very much there's no feeling in it. It's like, I want to have sex. This is how I get to it. This is great because I've been told that this is great. But with Reese, it's you're shown. You not only like have his obviously his proclamations, which he's just done, but also you know that by this point she's likes him. You know he likes her. It's this huge thing, and it's obviously goes on for chapters after that.
I also feel as if, because everything that Farah went through before Throne of Glass,
Sort of glad.
before Thorns and Roses, we very much get like, we know that she's gone through trauma, we know that she's gone through hell, and I think that, like, Tamlin's the only kindness, he's the only person who's shown her kindness in a very, very long time. Like, he has shown her all of this stuff, and she falls for him because he's the only person who actually seems to care about her. And then she realizes that he doesn't care about her as a person. He cares about her as an idea.
Yep. But then we get Reese,
And we love
who wants to not only protect her himself, have his inner court protect her, wants to train her mind so she can't be like infiltrated in a not good way. He wants to train her with magic, wants to train her physically, and then not only all of that, but also gives her an actual fucking title. So not only does, and I know that I said earlier I wasn't going there, but I'm going there now because I want to wax poetic. Fuck it. Yeah, not only because Tam's obviously said, "Oh no, we don't have any high queens. It doesn't happen." Fuck you. Um, thank you. Where he's just gone, "Fuck you all. She is my equal. She is my queen. She is my high queen. My high lady. If anything happens to me, fuck it, it's hers." Yes. And then I love that the reaction that they were all like, "Are you fucking telling me that my high lady is now there? Like, what the fuck have you just done?"
Yeah.
I love that reaction from like the inner circle, just being like, "You have to answer for your actions right fucking now."
I also really love the fact that Sarah does not hesitate to do what she needs to do to protect the Night Court.
Yeah,
He's like, these are my people. If I have to like leave
fight
everything,
with them.
like, well, not like if I have to sacrifice my own happiness for my court, I will. And it's like,
Yeah. I mean, when she's fighting for crap, what's the city name that they've protected all this fucking time until he was an asshole?
Valaris.
Yes. God, why did I not come up with that? My brain told me I was wrong, and it was a Throne of Glass name because we just confused myself. The fact that they kept it quiet for so fucking long, and he didn't see his best friends for that length of time, and then the queens, who we haven't spoken about yet, and we need to come back to them. The fact that the queens then just decided not to give a fuck. Like the
They've
whole scene of like that battle. I know that we've like jumped all over the place and it's my brain. We know this by now. Um but the fact of that battle and her just being like, I could go to safety or I could fight. Yeah. It was the only time I saw Tamlin even being like, oh shit, what the fuck have I done? Too late. Too little, too late. Yeah. The queens, I didn't trust them to start with, but I couldn't put my finger on why I didn't trust them. But the fact that there was then less of them when they came back, I was like, have you guys like had a disagreement and you're not letting the people that like would side with them come back? And then the fact that she dropped the second half of the book, I was like, oh shit, she got balls, and then she died. It was like fucking whiplash. This book. It was very much like reading Throne of Glass again.
Yeah. I feel like because of this comment, we haven't really spoken about Nesta or Elaine. So their reactions when Feyre comes back are interesting. We find out that Elaine is engaged
To an asshole
to an asshole.
who gave her
And
an iron wedding ring.
yep. I mean, I understand it. Like there is the fear there. Um, and she thinks it's love, so that's yay. And then we have Nesta being Nesta.
I love Nesta.
Nesta is
Honest to God, I had this really horrible thought when I was reading it. So I actually had a thought to myself as soon as there's an end of a chapter, I think, when the king was like, oh well, Lucas, see what I can do, or something like you are not enough. I can't remember what the end of the chapter was. And I literally was like, her sisters are coming. I was like, they're like, there's been enough backlash for the queens. The queens know who they are. The queens, like, something's happening. That one of the sisters is coming. Didn't think that they would end up in the cauldrons, to be fair, but I was like, the sisters are coming. Then the sisters were there, and I was like, oh shit, right. Okay, so Elaine's gonna go first because she's the youngest, and Elaine's gonna die, and Nesta's gonna be turned. Like that was where my brain went, and then they both survived. So obviously now we're like fucked because we're up shit creek without a paddle or with not enough paddles. I don't know what we're saying. Um, I love Nesta. Her whole reaction in every scene I think is fantastic. But genuinely wasn't surprised when they got pulled in, but was surprised that they both lived because I was sure one of them was going to die in this book. Either from talking back to queens, to the king, or to elves somewhere along the line. Like, there's a lot of people that Nesta's pissed off somewhere. But yeah, sorry. That was a ramble.
Why are you sorry? This is
Oh no.
literally what we do this for. Um, yeah,
But
I
yeah,
think
I'm excited because now we have like all three.
all three Archer sisters.
Like,
Oh, we haven't. So okay, so I'm gonna go back to. So we have Reese and Farah are mated.
yep.
Um, and also we find out that Reese was dreaming of Farah,
While she was painting.
and that is the reason she painted a night sky.
And she got back into painting and like decorated the whole cabin. And I just love that. Was it Amran came in and was like, "Oh fuck, you can't just have Moore's eyes like that. That isn't allowed.
By the
Like,
way,
I need
by the way,
other way, other way." I was like, "That's not allowed. Like, you need mine." And then she was like, "Now you need to add the boys, and we will all watch over you." And I was like, "Oh, sorry. What was that last comment? Sorry, I didn't read it." Yeah, 100%. And now her and Nesta can be bitchy for centuries. It's great. It's great. Um, Part of me. So we've obviously got Lucian and Elaine. Which part of me is hoping we can turn Lucian because I genuinely do believe he's being like pulled in the wrong direction by Tam because he's obviously not from that court originally, right? I am
yeah,
right in saying he came from a different court.
Autumn Court.
I know that obviously Autumn is shit. We do not like Autumn. Or at least what we've been introduced of Autumn.
Yes.
But is what we know of Autumn actually true? Because now I don't know if I know what I know. If that makes any form of sense. I think I do because it seems to come from both night and spring. The autumn shit, like that, doesn't seem to have changed, and that's more than one opinion. Could be wrong though. Let's face it. But we haven't talked about summer. Summer court.
Mm-hmm.
They literally both wanted to be friends with him, and they were like, "We need this book more than friendship to stop a war." And I just so wanted them to physically go to him and ask him for it. And then the blood rubies,
Yeah,
and Amran using hers as a paperweight. The paperweight.
Cameron is just a queen.
I love Amran. I am genuinely would be shocked if she was not like actually a queen from a different era slash period, realm, whatever, wherever she came from.
I mean, she's ancient, so
Yeah. Um, Genuinely love Amran. And the
she's
fact that he was like, if we have this, we might be able to get you home. And she was like, fine. I
she's
love
just
it.
a grumpy little bitch, and I love her.
I love her. I think her and Nesta together in conversations could be fun.
Okay, is there anything else you want to talk about? Because I feel like we have talked about a lot, and also not a lot.
Um,
And like I said, my brain was kind of half in this book and half not. So,
yeah. Jurian?
oh, Jurian.
Jurian?
Yeah, Jurian.
Yeah. Do not like him. Still don't like him.
Mhm.
Didn't like him. Don't like him. Hope he burns in a cauldron and actually dies. The actual king is an ass. Like, I just the fact that Tamlin would decide that that was the best way to go about getting her to like give up the wall so that they could like no. Just no. Um but yeah, the king is gonna be back. There's no way he is not going to be in the next few books. Just when we got rid of Amarantha.
So, what I will say is, and I don't think this is a spoiler because this is how it was originally going to be published. It was originally set as a trilogy.
Okay.
So it's very much kind of like
Because it's a trilogy and then like a novella, isn't it?
and
And
then she continued it. So
because we don't have it's not all published. It's not like Throne of Glass.
no, but it was
You're leaving
originally
me with a cliffhanger. Oh man.
so it was originally supposed to be a trilogy.
So does
And
that mean there was a publishing gap then between like ACOWAR and
I can't
whatever?
remember.
Okay. Somebody in the comments.
And it doesn't matter. But what I'm saying, that was not the point of the comment. The comment was your it's this part of the story is
Closure.
yes.
Okay. I love that. I'm like, I get you.
Yeah.
I got you. Which is better than Throne of Glass, because that took me months to get through
Yeah,
to get
no.
closure.
It's just like one set thing, and then she decided to expand it a bit.
Okay. That really makes me want to start reading it like tomorrow.
Yeah, so you will have like finished the original, like kind of stopping
Yeah.
there.
I need to read this first. I'm not allowed to not read this first. And then that is my reward. My reward for reading a non-mass book.
But yeah, I think that we've kind of covered most things. If
I think
anyone's got
so.
anything else that they want to talk about quickly.
As I'd say, the only thing that I can think of is the fact that Reese's magic was being used to hunt them was like horrendous.
Yeah.
And also her managing to use her magic to like not only like use water, but then like to like meld it with a different power to then like merge and multi elemental. Like that is like my ultimate power. Like I am like such an elemental bugger that like if I had power, that would be what I would want. And like seeing her, I'm just like, this is better than Aelin because you have all of them.
Do you know what you should do? You should watch The Legend of Vox Machina because there is a character who does that.
Okay. To be fair, I did start watching it. I just got
Did
distracted
and
by
didn't
everything else.
finish it.
Oh no, are you gonna do a Chloe to me? Oh no.
No, I would never do that, but I just think that you should watch it. But yeah, I can't think of anything else. I love that Becca has chimed in with laughy faces because I'm like, Legend of Vox Machina. It's a great show. I'm always going to pitch it. Look, this is the girl. She's so look at how cool she looks. She has like feather, like it's leaves, and look.
Oh no.
Love this for me.
Oh, you're back.
Hello.
It stopped you while you were going on about non-Maasalong stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do need to finish it. I loved what I watched. I just got distracted by other things.
But yeah, I think that we kind of
Thank you for doing this again.
no
Again.
worries. Yeah.
I will try give you more thoughts with the next book when I don't binge it in the 36 hours before the live show.
I feel like either way you're gonna binge it.
I am, but hopefully not 36 hours before because that was stressful.
Yeah.
When it's this size of a book. And the next one's bigger.
So she said.
Like 80 pages bigger than this one.
Yeah, it's a big book.
Not as big as Kingdom of Ash though. That was like 1,000.
No. But then once we do that, we have a very short book. And then we have a bigger book. And then we've finished another, well, technically finished,
up to date with
published works of this series.
Check us go.
And then we only have 3 more books to do. What? We only have 6 more books to do.
That's crazy.
That has flown.
Does that mean we're like 10 in?
Yeah, because there's the 8. Is it 8?
Yeah.
8 Throne of Glass, and we've read 2. Yeah. So quite a bit. Yeah, it has. It has. But yeah, I feel like we can end this now. Thank you guys for joining. and we will see you next month to get like the conclusion of this trilogy book, then continue on with the rest of the ACOTAR world. So
Yeah.
thank you for joining. Bye.
Bye.